Hello, it's Respawn Aim Fire. Is that I wonder what that man's up to. Anyways, welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the Kick-Ass Revenant Game Podcast from Affable. I'm one of your hosts, Adam. Steve was my Blues Clues host, Gumbert. And today we have with us Chad. You've got the guy in the middle, Michael Ennis.
Does anyone even know, like, the name of the other new Steve? Like, he's not Steve anymore. He's probably like, I don't know,
The
Steve.
kids know,
Joe.
but we're not the
Cubs.
kids. It was Joe.
Joe? Joe. Is that the guy who threw up on all the trains?
Yeah, that guy.
Is that the guy we're summoning when Joel starts an encounter too quickly and we call him Horny Joe? Is that guy? Blues
I
Dad?
suppose so. We also have with us Alex. I think Kevin was his Blues Clues host, Cozina.
So Blues Clues is one of those shows that I myself did not directly watch, but I ended up watching a lot of indirectly because my sister used to watch a lot of VHSs of the show. Yes, we had a VHS recorder very, very, very late. We were very late to get on the DVD/Blu-ray game. But yeah, I watched a lot of the show via my sister, via third hand. And I want to say that the first guy, the guy with the name that we all know and that I definitely know and definitely did not forget, even though it was said only a few moments ago. Steve from Minecraft was indeed my Blues Clues guy.
Oh, shit.
End of discussion.
There you go. Knock it out.
Oh, no. I broke the tab in half before I opened it.
Just put it in the bottle. It's good. You can catch us live on twitch.tv/AffableIdiots Monday evenings at 8:30 Eastern Time. YouTube podcast services Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Housekeeping. July and August's barf game is Clair Obscure Expedition 33. So play that game in time for a review of Clair Obscure spoiler cast with friends and family at the local barbecue. Also, Rafter Dark episode 6 is available in early access on Patreon, patreon.com/respawnaimfire for $1. Listen to that episode. Don't remember which one it is. It's a good one, though. Whatever it is, it's excellent. And then next week, news to me, we're taking a break, everyone. Everyone is too busy buying and selling houses, and no one will be here. So that is what's Joel, what's going on?
So the Rafter Dark you guys had, I haven't listened to it yet, but you guys hinted that you talked about IKEA hot dogs and Costco hot dogs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was not there. I have not listened yet. But I want to report back that I ate my first IKEA hot dog yesterday.
Wow.
So I had eaten a pretty hefty lunch, and then I went to IKEA yesterday to buy a bookshelf. And when I was there, I was thinking, they were talking about IKEA hot dogs, and I've never had a hot dog from IKEA. So I was like, I got to at least try it, right? It's $1. I don't have to eat the whole thing. I just want to say that fucking thing sucked. That was so bad. I don't know what you guys talked about, but it better have been that they're bad. That's all I got to say.
The incredibly condensed argument that I made on the show is that, like, the IKEA hot dog is undeniably, inarguably inferior to the Costco hot dog. The Costco hot dog is a better hot dog, but I prefer getting the IKEA hot dog more because I'm not locked into also getting a gigantic drink to go with it. I don't want to be locked into, well, I also have to consume this giant thing of soda alongside my hot dog. I can just have the hot dog by myself, load it up however I want, and we're good to go.
Sure. Awesome. I don't remember any of that. Moving on to our main quest. I don't remember anything. I remember the talk. I don't remember the points made. Because my brain is fried.
It's because you were actively trying to end the show because we wouldn't stop talking about
I think that was
IKEA.
the time when I turned my camera off and left. You might be right.
Yeah, you did just leave the call.
I was fucking done. So today's main quest, not a lot going news-wise, nothing interesting. So what I've decided to do is take an opinion piece that kind of rolls into a thing we can talk about, and then we'll roll into the meat of the show, which we'll be talking about Donkey Kong Bananza. So this is an opinion piece from Matt Kim at IGN. 6 months in, Game of the Year may be decided. I skimmed through it, went over the points again, read his whole article for the entire thing. Typically, the time to start thinking about Game of the Year is after all the fall releases come out. While there's some still exciting games on the horizon, three have made a strong claim on the Game of the Year crown already. It's hard to imagine any of them losing steam anytime soon. There's a popular consensus. It's Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 from Sandfall, Death Stranding 2, On the Beach from Kojima Productions, and Donkey Kong Bananza from Nintendo are leading the Game of the Year race 2025. The article goes on, explains each one, their case for it, and then points out.
I just want to say.
You want to interrupt me in the middle of the thing? Okay.
I just want to say I want to just do a very quick interruption. One thing that I appreciate about this article, because I didn't check out this article before we went live with the show, I appreciate that it lists all the main contenders, Death Stranding 2, Expedition 33, because while I have a lot to share about Donkey Kong Bonanza, I feel like I can go through each entry on this list and kind of give my take on where I think it might stand when it comes to Game of the Year at the end of the year. So I'm excited to get to this later on.
That's why I picked it as our main. See, we're on the same wavelength. The article mentions games that are coming out late in the year, such as things like Ghost of GOTY, Borderlands 4, Outer Worlds 2, Metroid Prime 4. But it was just saying, like, hey, it's only halfway through the year and we have 3 heavy contenders about Game of the Year. Most people here have played all of them or some of them. Discuss while I continue to eat my Reese's Cups.
So, do we want to start off by talking a little bit about Bonanza? Because myself and Chad
I think
have played
you end with Bonanza because we'll go into playtime and talking about Bonanza, right?
Okay, all
nice.
right. In that case, let's actually go from bottom to top. Most people say go from top to bottom. I want to start from bottom to top, which means let's talk for just a brief moment about a little game that I very rarely talk about on this podcast called Metroid Prime 4. It is at the bottom of the list of games in the article. So, Metroid Prime 4, I mean, I'm very cautiously optimistic about that game. Retro Studios has consistently made fantastic games over the years. They've never had an outright miss. I feel like that game really has an uphill battle to really prove itself to be a Game of the Year contender based on the trailers that we've been fed of that game. And that's all I'll say about it right now, because if you leave me to talk any more about this game, I will spend another 2 hours here. We're done. We're good. We've said everything we need to say about Metroid Prime 4. Moving on. Outer Worlds 2. I don't have a whole lot to say about that. Do you guys have much to say about Outer Worlds 2 and its prospects?
I would say everything contender in the second part of this list is like, who knows? Because the game, I don't think anyone would have said Clair Obscur at the beginning of the year would have been a potential Game of the Year. They're like, that looks like a cool, fun game that some people will like. It seems to be bigger than that. So I think Matt Kim was just pointing out the big games because I could see an indie game going on strong here. Yeah. So until we know, you don't know till you know. But those are like the big ones for the rest of the year. So they typically would be on a Game of the Year. We're talking about Keighley, obviously, because that's the one everyone pays attention to. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if 2 more of those are on a Keighley. I wouldn't be shocked if an indie we've never heard of is on there. Or maybe a AA game that like people really fuck with is. So who knows? I mean, here's the thing, who knows? Nobody knows until you play it, right? So
Outer Worlds 2 very much strikes me as this is a game that could very easily take the crown for best Xbox Game of the Year. Will it necessarily find itself in the final Game of the Year list? I don't quite know. And what's a little like, I remember the original Outer Worlds that got into like the final shortlist for their Game of the Year it came out, if I remember correctly. Or am I remembering incorrectly? I remember it definitely being in the conversation there. And like, I don't know, it's interesting because like based on what we've seen so far of Outer Worlds 2, it seems like it's shaping up to be a far better, superior sequel, but will it even necessarily generate quite the same fervor when it comes out? Remains to be seen. Borderlands 4, it seems like that game is really shaping up to be like much more impressive than I think a lot of people were expecting it to be, but like, I don't think that one has much of a shot. Ghosts of GOTY. Yeah. Ghosts of GOTY. I mean, I feel like that's Sony's, excluding Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, which is technically kind of a PlayStation game. Like, that definitely is Sony's big other Game of the Year contender for this year. But again, as you were saying earlier, Adam, like, definitely, it definitely remains to be seen exactly how much that game is going to blow us away or not. And so moving into the big 3, do you guys want to talk about Expedition 33 first? Because I've not played any of Expedition 33, and I feel like you guys would have.
Chad likes it.
This is one that's going to be really tough to like talk about, like how good it is and why, when I'm the only person that's played it, and it like everything about how great it is. Well, a lot of how great it is spoilery. So other than just like the storytelling and the characters, and it looks great, and just it's good. It's a great game.
It's good.
My life.
It's good. Death Stranding 2. Am I the only one here who's played Death Stranding 2, or am I mistaken?
Joel's played Death Stranding 1.
Right.
And he watched the spoiler review of Death Stranding 2 on mute.
On mute, yeah. I watched the spoiler cast.
Why'd you watch it on mute?
Because I was trying to support my friend Jerica.
Well, I listened to it and supported her and heard her words.
No, yeah, I supported it without her words because I didn't want to get spoiled.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, I didn't watch it. I had it on the background. I was giving them a view. And every 45 minutes or so, I would type in Jerica with an exclamation point.
Nice.
I'm like a fair few hours into Death Stranding 2 on the beach. I'm doing the thing where I'm playing it alongside a friend online that can play it themselves, and so they're experiencing it vicariously through me. So far, it's a really strong sequel that I think builds on the original game's mechanics in a lot of smart ways. There are parts of it that do feel perhaps a little conventional and a little safe. I feel like I'm still waiting for the moment where it's like, okay, we have clicked into an absurdist Kojima fantasy, the likes of which only Kojima can make. But otherwise, I remain very charmed by it. I'm going to say, like, without going directly into my Donkey Kong impressions just yet, I think that ultimately, all things considered, this is probably Expedition 33's year to win. I think that a lot of people like an underdog story. I think that as much as the kind of critics, the evaluators of the Game Awards like what they liked, I think that they also like being charmed and surprised by something that they didn't previously know existed, something they didn't previously know could charm and surprise them. Donkey Kong Bananza and Death Stranding 2 are both immaculately polished and incredibly fun games, as we'll get into. But they were, to a degree, somewhat known quantities from franchises that are established, that have been around for a very long time, at least in the case of Donkey Kong Bananza. And I feel like Expedition 33 has that factor to it of, here's a studio that kind of came out of nowhere that supposedly had a relatively small amount of, developers that actually, put their foreheads to the grindstone to make this particular game. And I feel like that will, in my opinion, probably propel it to the top spot of Game of the Year.
I've got a little wrinkle for you. Just a little thought exercise. I went to Metacritic and looked at the best reviewed games of the year. Obviously, this is an opinion piece for Matt Kim, so Matt Kim cannot be wrong about his opinion. That's fine. But highest ranked games of the year, I don't know why this is back on here again. The 2 Zelda games from the Switch are on here because they got re-released. Whatever. Right. Yeah. The number 1 new game is Clair Obscur, followed directly behind by Blue Prince and Split Fiction. So it's interesting that those aren't mentioned at all when, I don't know, Joseph Fares feels like a lock-in for Game Awards, you know what I'm saying? I mean, sure. Not to say that he's just like buddies and like he's a face there, but like he also makes good games. But it's interesting they're not talking about Split Fiction when I know 2 people here played it and were like, "Oh, that game's awesome." Do you guys feel it's got the steam?
I think Split Fiction has Game of the Year. Like, I don't think it's in that conversation. It may be for like, no, I wouldn't even say family game. Like, I mean, that's a game that's tough to play with your family, as we both kind of realize, like, this is even tough to play for people who don't play video games. But it's really good, but like I don't feel like it, to be honest, we haven't finished the last probably like 2 missions of that game, but I don't think it does anything that's so revolutionary outside of Joseph Fares games that is blowing people's tits off.
That's the thing, is like, I've not played the game, so I can't, comment too deeply about it. It seems like people really love that game, but it also does seem pretty iterative. I think that It Takes Two was able to take the crown because at that point in time, like Joseph Fares's sort of whole, the kind of like MO of his studio, the kinds of games that his studio makes were not perhaps as widely kind of known when that particular game came out. And that game was a perfect intersection of people discovering his type of game, combined with that game also being like supremely polished and much, more well-crafted than either of his prior 2 titles. Whereas this game might be even better for all I know. Again, I didn't play any of his prior games, but it is sort of a known quantity, and I think that is working against it.
Final thought.
And the story is generic as hell so far. So
yeah. Final thought is that Blueprints will win Indie Game of the Year, and then will probably be on the Big Six list. We will have to see. But anyways, all of that just to really lead into Playtime, what you've been playing. Guys, some people have been banana ramming around here. And they're
ramming bananas. This is a game. Hi, I'm Chad. I've played Donkey Kong Bananza. I've played for several hours. I am on Sublayer 600, which is my fourth world. I just got to the forest world. Chose not to do. There's like a fork in the road, and I got to the forest world. This is a game that is fun as shit. That I opened it up, loaded in the very first room that you're seeing here on the screen, and this is much more advanced on the screen there. But you load in the first room, and I literally spent probably 20 minutes before I got to my very, very first objective marker of grab the banana 200 feet away, and I was like, I'm going to smash every single bit of rock in this entire room. And I just went around and smashed everything that I could see, and I didn't get tired of it until I was like, I guess I should probably, I'm not tired of this, but I should probably continue with the objective, because who knows how valuable having smashed all of this will be. So the core mechanic of the game is just smashing, and it is so much fun. When it comes to the Pody GOTY, I'm going to put this out there. I see the review scores everyone's giving it of 9.5s and 10 out of 10s. I don't think it is 10 out of 10 material yet, but apparently a lot of that comes in the later part of the game. So I think it is solid 8.5, 9 right now. I'm having a great time. There's a lot of really funky, no pun intended with Funky Kong, but a lot of funky character to it. The ways that Cranky Kong is telling you stories, and then at the end of the story, he's just thanks for sticking around and not getting bored. Here's a banana, and all sorts of shit like that. And fucking Pauline, her just singing all sorts of. Anytime you have to use her singing power, she's like, ooh, ah! And she's just stupid ass. It's great. It's great. It's a fun ass game. I'll pause there. That's my initial impressions.
Not as far into the game as you are, Chad, but I am a decent bit far in. This is one of those things where whenever I sit down to play a game, I'm like, well, I'm definitely going to stop when I get to this point. I'm going to play until I get to this point, and then I'm going to stop. And my stopping point that I initially set for myself is when I finally get reunited with Pauline. And I will say, not a huge criticism, but something I wasn't kind of expecting is how long it would take to finally get to Pauline proper. If you're looking at the footage right now, you've played this game or at least seen the direct, you may know that the moment in which you unite with Pauline technically comes sooner than it actually does in the game for real, but we won't get super deep into spoilers. This game, fantastic to play. It's one of those games where literally within a moment of you kind of punching and jumping around for the first time, the game just feels immediately excellent to play. And just kind of burrowing your way through the terrain, finding bonus objectives, collecting golden bananas, completing challenges. The game just delivers to you new challenges and things to do at a pretty blistering pace. It constantly does a fantastic job of keeping you engaged. And for a game where you can burrow in almost any direction and go anywhere and kind of create your own paths to any particular goal, it still does a great job of feeling very structured of an experience. One of the problems that we ran into with, games like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom is sometimes it can feel your MO to kind of make this game a game that can be played in any manner with a high degree of creativity means that sometimes things are not as paced out as well as they could be, or have that kind of dramatic kind of pacing that you would kind of want out of these sorts of experiences. And so far, I've not had that problem, even though the game does afford you a great deal of freedom over exactly how you want to accomplish or travel to its task by smashing through everything. I'm really loving this game so far. And I think, going back to our discussion about Game of the Year earlier, will this game win Game of the Year? I'm a little hesitant to kind of like fully put my badge of approval on this one, because I think we are dealing with a franchise that has been around for a really long time. It's a fantastic new entry in this franchise, but I do think it does have that factor going against it of Nintendo already being such a lauded, developer. And do we need to kind of like, still hand them their flowers when we already know that they make such fantastic games? I don't think that this game is perhaps as perfect, as immaculate enough of an experience to, secure them the win in that regard, but I do think it is a damn good time, at least so far from what I've played.
I'm looking forward to being won over by it.
I do want to talk a bit. I did play for like 20, 30 minutes. I never got to the part where you get the rock, which I assume is Pauline. Soon to be.
Spoilers!
Yeah, so I did not get to the rock yet. That's how early in I am. I just played kind of the intro. I had a really busy weekend. But yeah, it's so fun just to break shit. Like, it feels so good. Just like you don't know where you're going, but you're going there. So yeah, I'm excited to play more. I'm kind of saving it for a work trip I have next week. I'll probably really dive into it deep then. I do want to say there's somebody on TikTok I saw who they felt nostalgic for the yellow cartridge. They peeled off the label on their game, and then they took the actual cartridge out, the chip out of the cartridge itself. So it was just plastic. They spray painted it yellow and then put the label back on. I saw this last week, right the day it came out. And then all the comments were saying buddy, this is going to ruin your Nintendo Switch too. You're going to have chunks of yellow in the game slot. Last night I'm scrolling TikTok. What do I see? The same fucking guy who's just guys, this game is stuck into my Nintendo Switch too. I push down, it doesn't budge at all. It won't come out. And then he's just this is what I got to do. And he's just taking needle nose pliers and trying to yank the fucking thing out. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to see if he updates it today. I don't follow him or anything. I don't know what his username is, but if the algorithm's working, it'll show me what happens.
One final comment that I have about the game so far. It's not so much a criticism so much as it is just something that's interesting. Is in the past, I've been critical of the fact that usually when it comes to a lot of its big AAA games, Nintendo is not one to invest a lot of money in voice acting. A lot of its characters just speak in weird Simlish languages. You think about Animal Crossing and all the characters are and stuff like that. In this game, Pauline speaks in full human sentences, not just inside of cutscenes, but also when you're just wandering around the world as well, which is a nice and pleasant change of pace that I really appreciate. Most of the other characters in the game, most of the monkeys and animals and weird rock dudes that you encounter all speak the non-English, non-human, Simlish-ish language, except what's really kind of fascinating is that a lot of the words that they speak, at least this is what I've noticed from trying to pay close attention in the cutscenes, is it's not just that they speak garbled nonsense. It's that they seemingly have their own language that was constructed for the game. Because if you listen closely, every now and then there will be some keyword that you can make out in their, random gibberish, Dakoto, Bananza, Gokodoto, Pauline. And it's you didn't want to you didn't want to invest all the money in having an entire cast of characters that talk, but you did invest enough time and effort into making it so that they are actually speaking a quote unquote logical and real language that isn't just the same soundbite being repeated over and over. Just interesting choice. And yeah,
I love Pauline, her talking. When you take a nap in the game, she always has some little story that she wants to tell you or something that she wants to talk about. And one of the times she's just DK, we were out there and I saw all those coins earlier and all that gold in there. And I thought to myself, what if there's a point where we don't have any more gold and we can't afford anything and we can't live. And then I was oh, but there's a lot of gold everywhere, right? So we're probably okay, right? Right, DK? She's just having this existential crisis about maybe being poor and what is she going to do with it. It's always so funny to hear her talk.
It's great.
Very cool.
Also,
Go ahead.
I don't know This has to be false, but I don't know if anyone ever calls him Donkey Kong. I feel like everyone just calls him DK. Are we moving away from Donkey Kong?
Maybe that's the final reveal of the game.
Yeah, that's the post-credit scene where someone's like, DK, it stands for Donkey Kong. And everyone's like, oh, shit, he said the thing. Very cool.
Speaking of reveals that have already been revealed, I played Destiny: The Edge of Fate. And played... I'm playing, I guess is what I would say. It's the new campaign that came out. It is their Bungie's first new stories in the new saga after the Light and Dark saga that was the first 10 years of Destiny. So this is them setting up their very first new saga after that. There is a ton that has changed with this. Basically everything about the game has changed in some way. Weapons now have different tiers. Rather than being just like legendary and exotic, they now have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, all the way up to tier 5. The way that you interact with content in the game has completely changed. Like, it's really difficult to find the old school just solar system map if you wanted to go there, and they've purposefully hidden that because they want you to use this new portal system where they've organized the activities differently, and everything's kind of renamed and rejiggered, and damage is completely redone and squished. Like, you used to be doing, 5 million damage in a boss fight in a raid, and now, like, a lot of damage is like 500,000, and it's more consistent throughout the game. But it's also, it makes everything about the game so far kind of that I've done in the last 10 years kind of feel... I'm a little let down so far. I'm only halfway through the Edge of Fate. Matt and Dallas and I are playing the campaign together. But I'm a little let down because I'm just not excited about what's here. You're on a new destination. Kepler's another moon of Jupiter that we're on. And the destination Kepler doesn't feel new. It feels like actually like a bunch of recycled environments with a new Metroid lightning ball mechanic. And the story, like they've talked about the fact that their yearly expansions are going to be not as big as they used to be, but instead they're going to have 2 expansions a year that are about like 2/3 the size of what they used to be. But so far, it feels like just like a bunch of random quests, and all the quote unquote story is being told in these little like unvoiced interactions with these alien creatures whose language you don't speak. And when you can finally decode it and you can actually see the words that they're intending to say to you, they're nonsense gibberish words. And so nothing makes sense, and you're not following anything, and you don't care about anything anyway. And then the one new character that like the whole thing revolves around is this guy from Chicago in 1950 who like spends a third of the campaign pretending to hide a secret that we already knew was a thing because of like trailers and developer diaries. And then the big reveal comes and we're like, dude, yeah, we already fucking knew that. And so
let me ask you a question. If my facts are correct, oh no, wait. No, I don't think, no, unfortunately this doesn't work. What I was going to say is that to my recollection, Chicago deep dish pizza was only invented in the mid 1950s. And so I wanted to know if this guy knows about Chicago deep dish pizza, but I think that in fact it was invented in the mid 1940s. So I think
he probably does.
No matter what year in the 1950s he comes from, he definitely knows about it. So you can disregard. I apologize. Yeah. I apologize for responding fire. I let you down.
So from a gameplay, like from a story perspective and like mission, also the mission structure itself too, it's a lot more like in the open environment kind of fetch questy kind of stuff instead of actual missions like we've been used to in recent years. And the actual missions that do come up recycle the same environments that you've already been through. So it feels a lot like the Beyond Light campaign that came out several years ago, where it's just like 3 environments and you're just doing meaningless shit in all those environments back and forth. So I'm a little let down from the environment and story perspective, but also like the game, like I'm not excited about any armor or builds that I've currently had, because all of my armor is basically like my whole vault full of 700 fucking things over the last 10 years works right now, but it's not converted to the new tier system, and everything that's coming out now is going to be on the tier system, and like all the exotics that are out that have been released up to this point will only ever function like basically as a tier 2 piece of armor. And why would you ever use that when there's going to be a bunch of tier 5? So like, I'm not excited to build craft and do anything to it yet because all my shit's old. So yeah, so far I'm a little let down. I'm not super excited about it. And in fact, Matt is going on vacation for almost a week tomorrow. And so I wasn't even like mad when I was just like, cool, let's continue playing next weekend. I'll be fine taking a week off of this thing.
Yeah, so I've also been playing this with Audrey and Jerica, and our raid group is notoriously very into Destiny every time there's a new DLC. With that being said, I'll say me, Audrey, and Jerica have not played this in like 5 days, 4 days maybe. We just, to the point to where like I texted them the night before it came out, and I was like, hey, are we running through this together? And then Jerica and Audrey were both like, completely forgot that comes out tomorrow. Yeah, we'll pick it up and we'll play. Yeah, so it's just, I don't know. It's a hard time being a Destiny fan, especially like Chad said, everything's new, and everything that I've done up to this point feels almost pointless in the sense of like all the gear and weapons I've grinded for, you know, like the exotic weapon stuff not being as good as the newer stuff is kind of shitty. I will say I think I am enjoying the story more than Chad is with the new character. I think his whole story arc is just interesting to me so far. But again, when you're talking to those like alien things and you have no idea what the fuck they're saying, it's like, what? Like, why should I care about this? Like, why are you telling me to talk to Dean Rebecca when I don't know who the fuck Dean Rebecca is? I don't know what the fuck Dean Rebecca is trying to tell me.
Well, she works at a church because she's a dean, right? Isn't that how that works? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well,
school.
Yeah, school.
Oh, yeah, too.
But yeah, and it's very much like if you've played No Man's Sky, when you go and talk to an alien and you don't know their language yet, it's just gibberish. It's the same exact thing. Whereas then, like, as you progress through missions and stuff, you learn more and more things, but it still is just gibberish, but in English, more or less. Yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying the story. It seems more than Chad is. That being said, I do want to do the raid. I know it kicked a lot of people's ass over the weekend.
Yeah.
But this is the main reason I want to do the raid right here, is so that I can buy this sweet, sweet raid bag.
What's the date on that? Earned by August what?
October 7th. Oh, no. Earned by August 29th. August 29th is earned by.
We got a month. A month and a week.
We got a month. So yeah, there's a pretty sweet raid bag here.
Yeah, that raid. Oh my goodness. There's always the contest mode, like race to be world's first, and there were like best of the best teams that were spending 12 hours on the first encounter. And it just seems like the raid itself is not difficult in terms of mechanics or puzzles, but it's just the bosses are literally impossible, and they're bullet sponges. But that's, who knows what it's like after contest mode. Maybe it's wildly different. And
is contest mode over?
Or
is it till tomorrow?
This morning, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it goes back to like, I love doing the raids. Like, I love our raid group. I love raiding with the group. So like, a new raid is always going to excite me, whether the game's in a good spot or a bad spot. I'm always going to be excited to try it. It's just a matter of, are we going to be raiding every week like we did for, Final Shape or some of the previous raids that have come out? I anticipate maybe we do it like a few times over the next 2 months, but I think that we're going to die off pretty quickly compared to how it was during Final Shape. But we'll see. I don't know. I enjoy raiding, so I wish that they would just bring Leviathan raid back, because I really want to go kick his ass, Callus's ass again, now that I actually know what the fuck mods do.
This raid actually, it gives me flashbacks to Leviathan, and the fact that like there's a hub area and you can choose what encounters you do in what order and that kind of stuff. Kind of feels a lot like Leviathan to me.
I've seen nothing on the raid, so
I've watched hours and hours of Aztecross and Tactics trying to do it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like go in blind. That's one of the things I told you when Chad's like, Joel, are you raiding? You better not be raiding without me, when I sent a picture of the bag. Yeah, like I absolutely 100% will not go into this raid blind. I will look everything up beforehand, or if there are some people that want to go in blind, with like, I don't know if Audrey and Jericho want to go in blind. I doubt it, but you know, if somebody wanted to go in blind, I would be willing to give it like an hour for an encounter and then look.
It's also difficult to go in blind when like, I know Dallas has been watching Cross and I've been watching it. It's like, we're not going to just sit there and pretend to not know what to do while you all struggle.
That did happen. I forget what raid it is, but I think Alex had watched on how to do stuff and he just wasn't saying anything. Yeah. And I was like, man, I don't know how you're doing this. I would be like screaming into my microphone at how dumb you guys all are. Just wasting my time. But yeah, for sure. Like looking it up, I think is the way to go because none of us are super invested into the game, so it'll be fun just to get another raid under the belt, learn new mechanics, I guess.
So overall, I think it's going to be this is the start of a new saga. They already mentioned this whole year of content is going to be about introducing new questions to you rather than answering anything. Obviously, because we got to know what's the MacGuffin that we're chasing for the next X number of years. But I think also all the gameplay mechanics and system changes they're really setting the stage to optimize and simplify, like damage being one of them. Like previously you could go into a strike with the same loadout and the same weapons and the same difficulty level, and your numbers that you're seeing on the screen are very different numbers than it would be in a raid. And it's like the fact that all of that scaled differently, now it's all consistent across the entire game. Numbers are consistent, which means that there are future things they can do with parity across the entire game and everything running in the same way. So I'm hopeful for the future, as long as Bungie continues to be around and doesn't like die from this marathon plague that's eating it from the inside right now.
Okay. By the way, it wasn't Dean, it was Deacon is what I was thinking of. A deacon is a member of the church. I don't.
Although Deacon can also be a motorcycle gang.
I think that's just the name of a person in the motorcycle gang.
Yeah, well, Dean is also the name of a person.
That's true. You're not wrong. I don't know where we are. Who has stuff left? I don't remember.
Bojangles was Bonanza. Fledgling Hate was Edge of Fate. So
I was just about to say, I was going to ask what Bojangles was, and then I literally realized before you said it that you meant to say Bonanza, which I will say, as somebody who really liked Bojangles, who tried it for the first time last year, I was kind of hoping we could talk a little bit about Bojangles at some point, but I suppose
you can always get me talking about a Cajun Filet biscuit and some Bowberry biscuits.
Delicious. The best part of Bojangles, icing on it. All that stuff was good. The sweet tea, really good. I really love the sweet tea. I feel like it was that perfect intersection of sweet, but it also actually tasted like an actual tea that someone seeped and not just like super sweet sugar water.
You know what I mean? Cozy, I have a place for you to go. It's called the American South.
Can you guys hear me?
But I yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you, Joel.
OBS disconnected the stream.
Uh-oh.
It's still recording.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
And it won't let me start the stream. Well, I don't know what's going on.
All right.
Let's talk about sweet teas while Joel can figure that out. I mean, the thing about the sweet tea...
I'm hitting start stream and it's not doing anything.
Don't worry. Just keep it recording.
Like... The thing is like I've been to a lot of these other like Southern style like fast food places. I was at a lot of them when I was in North Carolina that one time, and like they're all a little bit off. Bojangles was the one fast food place I went to where I'm like, they kind of had the perfect formula for their sweet tea. I'm sure that there are a lot of other places that I could go to, a lot of other, like non-fast food, non-chain places where it's all mass produced and therefore the quality is probably not as good across the board. But Bojangles, that was kind of the best that I tried. But I know that I'm certainly not an expert when it comes to that kind of stuff. Anyways, should we talk about video games? You know what? Let's not talk about video games because I, just before this podcast, literally a few hours ago, finally got around to seeing Superman, the James Gunn movie, released in the year of our Lord 2025.
I thought you were only thinking about seeing it. I thought it was a kernel of an idea that you were thinking about doing.
That's right.
The problem is that I locked in and I saw all 4 of the Superman movies from the 1970s and 80s.
Ooh, that's a waste of 6 hours of your life.
Last week. I really enjoyed, let me put it this way. I very much enjoyed Superman 1978. I very much enjoyed Margot Kidder. I think she might be the hottest person to appear in any Superman or superhero movie to ever be released, and that's not an exaggeration. Superman 2 has good elements to it. Superman 3, 4, I definitely was better off not having watched, but you know, there are fun little pockets here and there. James Gunn Superman 2025. It's not necessarily a perfect movie, but it is a movie that I thoroughly enjoyed from stem to stern. Like, which is, it's funny that I say that because I mean, so much of the theme about the movie is Superman being like, I'm not necessarily a perfect person. I'm human. And what makes me human is the fact that I make these mistakes and I'm still figuring it out just like everyone else is. But yeah, movie that I very much enjoyed. What's funny about this movie, and I've not necessarily seen this sort of like opinion be brought up online yet, but I also have been not enjoying, but I've been avoiding a lot of spoilers for this movie. So maybe this is something that has already come up amongst more spoilery talks, is how much, and I need to be, again, I'm not going to go super in depth into spoilers here, but nobody's watching or listening to us right now. So maybe I have the liberty to do so. How much a certain character's storyline, in my opinion, seemingly mirrors a lot of what happened to James Gunn in real life over the course of him making the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, where they say that, you know, directors so often inject so much of their own life and experiences into the movies they make, even subconsciously. And as we all know, after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, James Gunn was on track to direct Volume 3. Disney discovered some old-ass tweets he did back in the day where he said some not-so-great stuff. And they were like, you're fired. He went over to DC. He made The Suicide Squad, and that got him on track to eventually take over DC years down the road. Eventually, he made good with Marvel and was able to come back and finish off the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. But there is a certain character's storyline, about certain information about a certain character's past that comes to light, where as I was watching it in the theater, I'm like, this very much feels like James Gunn doing kind of a commentary on some of his own experiences, some stuff that he had to deal with online and in real life, and how that affected his personal and professional career that he decided to imbue into the story. I won't go into much more detail than that, but I kind of appreciated that kind of meta kind of like layer to the movie, whether or not that was even intentional. But yeah, overall great. Love that very much. Outside of Donkey Kong Bonanza, only other video game I've played is I finally got around to completing all of the DLC levels that were added to Astrobot over the past few months. So not just the galaxy that's devoted entirely to like speedrunning oriented levels, but also the galaxy with a lot of like, I guess you could say challenge based levels where they give you one of your like special abilities right off the bat and are like, go nuts. We have some of the hardest challenges we have ever created in store for you in these particular levels. Real challenging, but a whole lot of fun. Reminded me all over again why this game was so good last year. I feel like on my own personal like top 10 games for that particular year, I feel like I ranked Astrobot a little bit lower than everyone else, which ended up not really mattering because Astrobot still won our overall game of the year for that year. I feel like after having completed these DLC levels and after how good they were, I probably would bump it up a couple of spots. Like if this game was maybe like the 5th spot on my list, I don't remember exactly where it was at, but 5 sounds correct. I feel like I would put it at least at like a 3. These were just really challenging, but really satisfying set of DLC levels that felt like they embodied so much of the kind of quality that the base game itself embodied. And yeah, just very, very, very satisfied with it overall. And by the way, guy completing that level right there like it was nothing, let me tell you, took me a whole lot of tries to beat that particular level and many others. And so yeah, that's that.
Okay, I think that's everything unless Joel has anything else.
Nope.
All right,
Death Stranding.
Cool.
I played some Death Stranding 1. That's it. Nothing. That game's therapeutic to me. I enjoy doing the missions. I enjoy walking through the mountains. Very therapeutic. Very annoyed when the fucking guys come out of the ground and grab me.
I don't think anyone likes that. All right. Moving on to that, Chad, it's time for...
Segment from Adam, segment from Adam, segment from Adam, segment from Adam.
Like Odysseus, I rise from my watery grave to prove to you I am the true hero of the story. This week we're playing video game Who Am I?
Ooh.
I will say, you just reminded me, one of the trailers that played before Superman was The Odyssey, the new Christopher Nolan movie. Gotta say, not super pleased with that teaser trailer. It was very much the definition of a teaser, and I really felt like Christopher Nolan wanted to hold back, and I feel like it was to that teaser trailer's detriment. I really wanted more
before
out of it.
Mine.
I saw it twice.
I think it debuted with the Jurassic World one.
I saw it before Jurassic World and before
yeah.
Superman. I was like, I'm seeing this trailer a lot of times. But we're playing video game Who Am I? This is a game where I'm going to show you guys an image, and you have to tell me normally who the character is. This week it's a little bit different. But because it's an audio podcast... Well, no. What? Oh, you got number one. No, I'm just kidding. Because it's an audio program, you have to describe what's in the picture for the folks who are listening at home. But there's a little bit twist on it. Joel, I'm about to start sharing my screen. Video game Who Am I? Share with Joel. Okay, as Joel brings that up. So again, I'm going to show you guys images. You have to tell me what it is. Whoever gets the most wins. The interesting thing here is that I need, between Cozy and Chad, I need to know, do you want to go first? Do you want to go second? Because I have, per difficulty level, I have two things.
I want to go first.
All right, Chad will go first.
All right, I will go second.
And the twist on this one is that it's video game Who Am I accessory edition. These are all video game accessories. Again, going from easy all the way up to very hard. I need you to explain what they look like and then tell me what it is. With it being an accessory, I need specifics. You can't just be like, Nintendo controller. I need to know like the name of the thing very specifically. I will say, go ahead and say, some of these are very hard to do because they've got logos printed all over the shit. So I did my best, guys, but just explain. So Chad, you said
this segment include characters that are an accessory to murder, characters that assisted other video game characters in murdering other characters?
No, they are video game accessories.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start out with Chad going first. I believe this is the easy difficulty. Chad, what is this? Explain it for the folks, then tell me what this is.
Love this.
So this is a piano. It's a little piano that you would get a kid who like is really obnoxious, almost like you would get someone on a drum set, but you don't want to you don't hate their parents that much, but you want to give them something that's shitty. So you get a piano that has like an octave on it. But this is one from 1922 that was found at an antique store, and the antique store found it in a garbage can. And so this is all like, it used to be wood, but now it's all soggy and gross. And this is kind of looks like cardboard, and this is called Nintendo Labo piano.
Very nice. Yes, this is Nintendo Labo. This is an accessory that Nintendo tried with the Switch and then pretended it didn't exist. I was going to show a picture of like every Nintendo Labo accessory, except for every one of them has giant letters that says Labo on it. It's like, well, it's easy, but I can't make it that. So Chad, keep track of your points.
John Carpenter, the legendary film director, in his sort of career post-directing movies, has done a lot of music composition. IGN got him for like a fun short little video to like do the Halloween theme on Nintendo Labo. Within 5 minutes, he was like, this shit sucks. This is terrible. He hated it.
Love John Carpenter. All right, Cozy, your first one. Your easy one is, what is this? Please explain what it is and tell me the name of it.
These are a pair of barrels. Now, the specific like angle at which this picture was taken is there's no real like identifying markers to demark what particular character or franchise these barrels belong to, but I can tell you for a fact that these are the Donkey Kong congas. These were used in games such as the Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, specifically the GameCube version of Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, and many of the Donkey Konga games, which were music rhythm games.
Yes, very good. Every other picture there's a DK logo on the front of it. I'm like, let me get a picture of the back. Very good. You guys both have 1 point. Now we're moving on to the next difficulty. Chad, this is for you.
Chad dropped out.
I didn't drop.
I see him.
He's back. He's back for me now. I don't know what happened.
Cool. All right, very cool. Chad, this is your next difficulty. I forgot the name. We'll see in 1 second. Chad, this is your adventure difficulty. Can you tell me what this is? Please explain it for the audio folks.
Yes. So you'll find this on Amazon listed as a personal massager. This one specifically is for aliens because it lights up in different colors depending on what race you are, and also has different buttons. Like one of them has 4 buttons to massage all 4 clits, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It comes in 2 flavors. One is an illuminated light flavor, and one is a for tiny people flavor. And this is the PlayStation Move controller and the PlayStation Move. I believe it wasn't a nunchuck. People call it the pickle. But it's I think it's just like a PlayStation Move controller with joystick.
I just have PlayStation Move down. You're fine. You're good on that one. Yeah, I still don't understand. I understand the mechanical reason for the little ball, but God, it looks fucking stupid. Holy shit.
I want it on record. So I own 3 PlayStation Move controllers. I never owned like the other controller, the one on the left side. According to Wikipedia, it is the PlayStation Move navigation controller. Never would have guessed that, but that's what it's called.
Quick question. What is the current score?
2 for Chad, 1 for Cozy.
Okay. I'm putting it on the screen.
Nice. Very good. All right, Cozy. Cool. Here's your adventure difficulty. What is this?
Ah, man. So I never owned one of these.
Can you explain what it looks like as well?
Yes. It's a like more standard looking video game controller, but while there is one like thumbstick on this particular controller, there are 2 large splotches on the controller where you would imagine there normally would be 2 other thumbsticks, but instead there are these 2 giant kind of pads that one would imagine that maybe are used in a like kind of like a what am I trying to say? Like a touch control like manner. I knew only one person who owned this controller, and they said that it wasn't particularly great of a controller. This is the Steam Deck controller, not the Steam Deck controller, the Steam Machine controller.
It's a Steam Deck controller. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Well, it's just called the Steam Deck controller. Again, hard to find one of these without the big Steam logo in the middle. This one is sort of offset. So that's 2 for everybody. Chad, your next one, I think it's medium difficulty. We'll see in 1 second. Is Chad, what is this? And remember, I need the exact name of the device. Explain to folks what it looks like.
Yeah, so this is what... If you're familiar with the concept of a bolo, not the bolo tie, but like it's a thing on ropes. It's 2 little balls. You throw it, and it like trips people and ties them up and shit like that. This was Nintendo's attempt at this. It was a real life in person. You have to try and tie up your brothers and sisters and friends using this. It had the controller cable of a Nintendo 64 controller, and in fact, it also had a controller plug-in so that if mom caught you trying to tie up your sister, you could be like, "No, mom, it's a controller. See, it's not even a rope. Like, I'm not tying her up," and you could plug it in as a way to lie. So that is this. It also has a big, giant, chunky gray thing on the end of it that looks kind of like a mouse. But again, that was, a lie so that you could pretend you were controlling the thing. And this is the Nintendo 64 Skeet Speak pack.
Oh, Chad, you were close.
It allowed you to talk to people online. I don't know what it is.
No, okay. I'm gonna hold on. Cozy, do you know the name of it? I had it pulled up before. I assumed you guys would get it.
See, my inclination is to say that this is a microphone, but the problem is that the only Nintendo 64 microphone that I know is the one that came with Hey You Pikachu, which was like had a much more obvious microphone shape to it. It didn't look like this.
Okay,
so I actually don't know.
This is the VRU, the voice recognition unit for Nintendo 64. It worked with Hey You Pikachu and some Japanese game that I've never heard of. And this is the actual unit. If the little hole we see here for the video people, that's where you put the little microphone to talk to Pikachu. But technically, it's called a VRU. I mean, I'm shocked that you didn't get it, Chad. I assumed you were a Hey You Pikachu guy.
No, I had already fallen off of Pokemon, I think, by then.
Ah, interesting. Okay, very good. Yeah. So that's 2 for Chad, 2 for Cozy. Cozy, your medium difficulty question.
By the way, real tick with regards to the whole Hey You Pikachu thing. So I'm looking up images online. There was like another thing that came with Hey You Pikachu that you stuck on the like Nintendo 64 controller that was like a wand with like a yellow ball at the end of it. Okay. Oh, I get it. So that was connected to that thing. Oh, okay.
I didn't every picture I had of both together had a cartridge of Hey You Pikachu next to it. So I was like,
that is very clever. That is very clever on your part.
All right. So the next one up for you, Cozy, is what's this? And remember, I need explain what it is. I need the exact name of it.
This is an Xbox controller, albeit a very unconventional Xbox controller. It is rectangular in shape. On the left-hand side of it, you have the various menu buttons, the standard menu buttons on an Xbox controller, a D-pad, and then on the right-hand side, you have two giant spherical buttons, that you would presume have like, again, a kind of like motion touch-based functionality to them. This is another controller that I have no personal experience with, but I am 99% certain that this is the Xbox adaptive controller meant for use for people that have disabilities that need more of a custom controller setup so that they can play the games that all of us enjoy on their own terms.
This is, in fact, the Xbox Adaptive Controller. You needed the name correctly, and you got it right. So that is 3 for Cozy, 2 for Chad. Chad, let's see if you can catch up. This is going to get tougher. I think... It's either... We're going to see what the name of it is. This is the tough difficulty. I need the... Explain what this is, and I need the exact name of what this device is.
All right. So this gets tough. Because you got to know which game this belonged to, because they all looked almost identical. So what we have here is colloquially referred to as an axe. It is all black.
Wow.
Yeah. It is all black with white. Maybe that's actually like a reflective chrome trim around the head of the axe.
I was just going to say, this is just like the axe that the main character uses in Brutal Legend that he uses to defeat all the enemies in that game.
That's exactly right. Jack Black from Minecraft in Brutal Legend. This axe also has a neck, and on that neck is a rainbow of colors. And you might push those in sequence or even together in order to perform legendary feats of musicdom. This is specifically, I believe, the Xbox controller variant of this axe, due to that Xbox 360 looking button kind of towards the middle of the entire unit. And I'm going to say this one is the... It's either... It's the Guitar Hero. It's the Guitar Hero guitar controller.
Here's the thing. There is an exact name for it. For half of a point, which for whatever difference that'll make. Can you tell me what Guitar Hero game that you think this is from?
Ooh, so that's like an Xbox 360 looking logo. So I'm going to say that it's Guitar Hero 2.
Chad, you were so close. This is from Guitar Hero 3.
Oh, fuck.
And it is the Les Paul guitar controller. You were right on track, but you're right. They made 100 of these games.
It literally says Gibson on it.
Yeah, Gibson is the company. Les Paul is the name of the model. Yeah, sorry, bud. It is what it is. All right.
Damn.
Very close, though. You were right on the money if you would have guessed.
I almost was like, oh, you can't trick me. This is the Rocksmith. And I was like, no, fuck. Rocksmith was like actually supposed to teach you how to play like a real guitar, so it needed actual frets.
Oh, very good. All right, Cozy, this is your tough one coming up.
Here we go.
Can you tell me what this is? Give me a description. I need the exact name or the exact game.
It is, in essence, a skateboard, but without the wheels or any of the funky stuff underneath a standard skateboard. The thing about this one is I feel like Adam is only going to accept a correct answer if I state exactly which game in this short-lived franchise this board comes from. So I'm going to say that this is the Tony Hawk Ride 2 skateboard controller.
Cozy, you were right on the money until you said 2. This is the Tony Hawk Ride controller. I do not believe there's a Ride 2. I think it's Ride and then Downhill, maybe?
Was there not? I feel like that strikes me as the kind of thing where like they did... Ride 1 was successful enough that they were like, oh, we can put out a Ride 2 and nobody bought it. I will look that up.
The sequel is Tony Hawk Shred.
Okay, so there was a sequel, but it wasn't called Ride 2.
It was not called Ride 2, okay. No. Close, but all right. What are the scores as we're going into our last round, Joel?
I think 3-2.
I think it's still me at 2. Yeah,
Cozy has 3, and Chad has 2.
All right, Chad, you can tie it here, and Cozy, you can claim the victory. We're moving on to our last round. I believe it's hard. Chad, can you tell me, video game, what is this? Give me the best description you can, and then tell me what it is.
This is a GameCube controller. That's it. This is what I see when I look at the Nintendo GameCube controller. End of story.
Can you explain it for the audio people what it actually looks like?
Oh yeah. It's got a bunch of pedals and knobs and 2 joysticks and a bunch of buttons that all, I presume, light up when you plug it in, and a throttle on the left side too, in addition to actually having throttle pedals, which seems redundant. Do planes have pedals? Because this looks like a flight stick. And if you have, does a plane need a brake pedal?
Planes have pedals.
I don't know. Well, okay, so pedals, joysticks, throttles, buttons.
So can you give me the knobs? What do you think it is?
This is the GameCube controller.
It is the GameCube controller. All right, so this one, it is the most ridiculous controller of all time. Is there a name of the buttons? I had it written down somewhere. I forgot. There's a lot of buttons on it. This is the custom controller for the original Xbox game Steel Battalion, where you pilot a mech and you have multiple pedals and knobs and 2 joysticks and an eject button up there in the top right corner and all kind. It's a mech controller, but it's from the game Steel Battalion for the original Xbox. I believe the most egregious controller ever made would be the controller for this video game. All right, so Cozy, you have the win, but let's see if you can win some respect points from me if you can get the last one. Your hard one, your hard picture that we're going to look at is this. Cozy, tell me what this is.
So, pictured on screen are 4 controllers bundled together by just a whole mess of wires. Pictured on the controllers is the PlayStation logo. The controllers themselves consist of 5 buttons, 4 colored buttons that are blue, orange, green, and yellow in color, followed by a big red button on the top. For a moment there, I was about to say buzzer button, but I realized that that would tip my hand far too quickly that I know what these are, because these are controllers for Buzz! Exclamation point, the Mega Quiz, the PlayStation game that is a PlayStation franchise that hasn't been around in quite some time.
Yes, congratulations. These are the Buzz controllers for Buzz. Here's the funny thing is, I was looking up silly accessories or whatever. Buzz had, obviously it was like a game show where you had buzzers, and that was the whole gimmick, and it was a PS2 PS3 exclusive, I believe. There are 1 2 3 4 5 there are about 10 games that use this controller. There's a Buzz Junior, there's Buzz Quiz, Buzz Brain, Buzz Quiz Master, Pop Quiz, School Quiz. I cannot believe
School Quiz.
I cannot believe they made so many fucking spin-offs of this stupid ass video game. But you're correct, that is the controllers from Buzz.
I want to say that, like, there were elements of these games in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Not as, like, a character, but I'm pretty sure they, like, incorporated elements of Buzz into, like, the backgrounds of some of these stages that you fought on.
Crazy. But congratulations, Cozy. You know your gaming accessories better than Chad, because he doesn't know which Guitar Hero game that guitar was from. That is my segment. Have a good day.
What a fucking idiot.
Are we ready for Game on Game Show?
Game on Game Show. The Game on Game Show. We play a game called Game on the Game Show. And a game show. Game.
After just so much time, after literal months of just not returning to this game, we are finally returning to Console Honor Roll. Normally in the past, we've tried to do this every second week, but we had a whole bunch of prep to do for episode 400. We wanted to take a break for a couple of weeks there, but we are finally back. And today we are going to be covering the Sega Saturn, which first released on November 22nd, 1994 in Japan and May 11th, 1995 in North America. Now, quick little note right up front before we get into the list. This is the first Console Honor Roll list where we're going to be going off of the NPD Group / Circana's sales data. This is because the group began tracking video game sales data in 1995. And of course, the Saturn launched, at least in North America, in 1995. Quick little aside, the reason why I prefer using the NPD group / Circana's data is because a source like Wikipedia will collate a bunch of different sources together from various parts of the internet and then rank them against each other to determine what the best-selling games were on a particular console, which, you know, is helpful if that's all you have, but isn't necessarily the most accurate process of determining how things actually sold against each other. The NPD group / Circana's data is only for North American sales, but it's much more accurate. And, you know, because we all live in North America, I feel like it just makes more sense for us to be going over North American sales data. Just wanted to clear that up because I realized that I've been relying on their data for quite a while now to do these segments, going all the way back to TMI with NPD, and I just don't think I've ever said anything before out loud about why I prefer using them. And so, yeah, there may still be instances down the road, some future instances where I might need to rely on other sources beyond the NPD group / Circana, but we'll cross those bridges when we get to them. Long preamble aside.
Real quick.
Yes.
Which console is this again?
This is the Sega Saturn.
Now, I don't want to cheat. You have to give me permission. Can I look up what this thing even looks like? Because I don't remember which of those Sega things were.
I was literally just thinking, like, you could put a Sega Saturn, a Genesis, a Mega Drive, a Master System, and a Sega CD together, and I couldn't tell you which one was which.
So long as you're very specific in your Google search, go to Google image search.
Yeah, I'm just doing it.
I got it, Cozy.
Sega Saturn, console, box, whatever you can do
what the fuck is this?
Try and avoid
I don't think I ever played
determining
this.
what it looks
ugly
like.
And generic as
I
shit.
must be remembering the Genesis. Was the Genesis a little skinnier?
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, I don't remember this thing at all.
Sega Genesis was much skinnier.
Yeah, I did not play this at all.
All right.
I did play Bug.
What is that controller?
I did play Bug, though. I did play that game.
That is not the standard controller for the Sega Saturn. The standard controller is the one on the left.
The one that looks more like the Sega Genesis one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. All right. Are we ready?
Ready.
Mm-hmm.
All righty.
You stop sharing that, Joe.
I think I literally might know 0 games from this system. So.
I know Bug. I know Bug.
I don't want to spoil anything. Let's jump right into it.
So
the 10th best-selling game on the Sega Saturn in North America, per the NPD group / Circana, was advertised by Sega at the time of its release as, quote, the world's first texture-mapped polygon action game. Clue number 2. It's a port of an arcade light gun shooter.
House of the Dead.
That is incorrect.
Time Crisis?
Bad answer. Time Crisis, not a bad answer as well, but also not correct. Clue number 3. The protagonists of this game are officers of a law-abiding force. And clue number 4. It's a virtual game, but without the L.
Virtua Cop.
It is Virtua Cop. Congratulations, Adam. You can give yourself 1 point.
Just put the clues together. Have no idea what that game is.
It's an action light gun game.
Cozy, can you send me the link of this list so I can have stuff ready to pull up?
That is a totally fair and valid point. I am right now in the chat posting the link. Nobody else access it. This is it was posted on NeoGAF by the one and only Matt Piscatella from the NPD group / Circana.
Thank you.
Could you imagine playing this game at home, Chad? Come on.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Shoot that guy. Shoot the guy in the white shirt.
per Sega, it was the world's first texture-mapped polygon action game. Nothing was quite like it before. All right, and with that, we'll move on to number 9. The 9th best-selling game on the Sega Saturn in North America, per the NPD group / Circana, is a sports game. Clue number 2. Its name contains the same year.
Virtua Tennis.
It is unfortunately not Virtua Tennis. Its name contains the same year that James Cameron's Titanic released in theaters.
Madden 98.
It is not Madden 98. Clue number 3. The cover athlete of this game is goaltender John Van Beesbrook. And clue
NHL
number 4.
94.
It is not NHL 94.
NHL 97.
It is NHL 97.
Was that when Titanic
Congratulations,
came out?
I
Chad.
remember when I
Titanic
saw
came out.
my first boobies on the big screen being 1997.
I think
I
this is
gotta
the first
say,
time.
this looks better than I expected it to when I clicked on this video.
Second
Back
new one
in the day,
don't.
like legitimately, like no, all jokes aside, like people went to Sega consoles back in the day for sports games before PlayStation started dominance. If you were coming in for the sports games, for the NHL games, for the not Madden games, but just football games in general, you were coming to it for Sega.
How many points was that
All
for
right.
Chad? One or two?
That is 2 points.
All
Two
right.
points. Number 8. The 8th best-selling game on the Sega Saturn in North America, per the NPD Group / Circana, is a multi-platform game that was also released on both the original PlayStation and PC. But it did come out on the Sega Saturn first, albeit by a matter of a few weeks.
It's Bug, Chad. Just guess Bug.
Clue number 2. It's the first entry in a long-running franchise that has been rebooted multiple times. Clue number 3. The protagonist of this game is tasked with finding an artifact called the Scion.
Tomb Raider.
It is Tomb Raider. Original OG Tomb Raider. You can give yourself 2 points for that.
I didn't know that was a non-PlayStation exclusive thing.
Yeah, it released on the Sega Saturn like 3 weeks before it came to the PlayStation and PC. So it technically debuted. This franchise technically debuted on the Sega Saturn, if you can believe it. And with that, we shall move on to number 7. The 7th best-selling game on the Sega Saturn in North America, per the NPD Group / Circana, was released simultaneously on both the Sega Genesis and the Saturn. Clue number 2. It's a first-party game that was co-developed by Traveler's Tales. Yes, the same Traveler's Tales that would go on to develop all those Lego games co-developed this game. Clue number 3. In PAL regions, this game shipped with the subtitle Flicky's Island.
Flicky's Island.
If this is a Bean game, that's going to be wild.
Clue number 4. I mean, there might be Bean games in this franchise, but that might be too big of a hint. Clue number 4. This game features an isometric perspective and pre-rendered 3D models that were converted into sprites. I will go through and I will read the clues again. This game was released simultaneously on both the Sega Genesis and the Sega Saturn. It's a first-party game that was co-developed by Traveler's Tales. Number 3, in PAL regions, this game shipped with the subtitle Flicky's Island. And clue number 4, this game features an isometric perspective and pre-rendered 3D models that were converted into sprites. And a bonus clue, because I said it kind of understatedly, but I'll now state it out loud. There is another game in this franchise that is Bean themed.
Yeah, I don't know
Dr.
what this one would
Robotnik's
be.
Mean Bean
Sonic
Machine.
Adventure. Well,
That is Sonic
was it?
Adventure is incorrect. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine is also incorrect, but that is the Bean game that I was referring to.
Well, yeah, I know that. So I'm like, what is the Sonic game? Fucking who knows, right?
Going once.
Isometric. Sonic
Going
3D.
twice.
Sonic CD.
We got
Hold on.
incredibly close.
I think Adam
does Joel
said
know
it.
what it is?
Adam said it.
I said Sonic 3D.
But the full name of this game is Sonic 3D Blast.
3D Blast.
I wouldn't have got that, so don't worry about it.
So, no points for Adam on this one, but he came close. I was going to say that we came very close on this one. Sonic 3D Blast, a game I have never played, a game that at the time I think was well received because people were very impressed by the, 3D to 2D isometric graphics, which, have their charm.
Was this also on Game Gear?
I don't
I feel like I remember
know.
playing this on Game Gear.
I mean, it would have released on the Nomad by virtue of it being a Sega
Sure,
Genesis game. I don't know about the Game Gear, though. Anyways, number 6. The 6th best-selling game on the Sega Saturn in North America, per the NPD Group, /Circana, is a port of a popular arcade game. Big theme here on the Sega Saturn list.
Virtua Fighter.
It is not Virtua Fighter. Clue number 2, it is a first-party Sega game.
Chadlock.
Clue number 3, it was developed to compete with Namco's Ridge Racer.
Did Adam just drop out for both of y'all?
He did.
He's back.
There we go.
No,
there we
he's
go.
back.
I was going to say he was upset that Chad uses Chadlock. And clue number 4, it's named after a coastal city in Florida that's home to a famous racetrack.
Daytona, USA.
That is correct. It is Daytona, USA.
Yeah.
You can give yourself 1 point. Don't forget, Adam, that you have the Adam lock as well. If you want to.
I'll make sure to utilize it real well.
Not a bad looking game. You know, pretty, primitive by today's
Was that
standards.
1 point
but I can
for Chad?
see why. That was 1 point for Chad.
I remember my uncle really was into all the PS1 NASCAR games, so I'm not shocked that this one was also popular.
And with that, we have arrived at number 5. The 5th best-selling game on the Sega Genesis in North America, per the NPD Group /Circana, is another port of an arcade racing game. Clue number 2. It was one of the first 3D racing games to incorporate surfaces with differing friction properties that would affect your car's handling. That was one of the big selling points of this game. Clue number 3.
Cruising USA.
It is not Cruising USA, unfortunately. Clue number 3. The last word in its title is a synonym for showdown or tournament. And clue number 4. The first word in its title is the company that made this particular console. I'll go through and read the clues once more. Clue number 1, it is another port of an arcade racing game. Clue number 2,
Sega
it was
Rally? Sega GT Rally?
I unfortunately will not accept that. It was one of the first 3D racing games to incorporate surfaces with differing friction properties that would affect your car's handling. The last word in its title is a synonym for showdown or tournament. And clue number 4, the first word in its title.
Sega Rally Championship.
It is Sega Rally Championship.
Is it real? I completely guessed that.
That is what it's called. That is 100% what it's called. You can give
I was
yourself
just like,
1
what's another
point.
word for tournament or whatever? I'm like, championship. That's wild. Sega Rally Championship. All right,
That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, people, even from the dawn of time, people love their simulation racing games. And with that, we've arrived at entry number 4, the 4th best-selling game on the Sega Saturn in North America, per the NPD Group /Circana, was directed by Yu Suzuki. Clue number 2. It's a sequel to a popular arcade game.
Virtua Fighter 2.
It is Virtua Fighter 2.
Fuck,
Congratulations,
I knew it would be there
Chad.
somewhere. That's my one game that I knew.
You can give yourself 3 points for that one. And with that, we've arrived at number 3. The 3rd best-selling game on the Sega Saturn in North America, per the NPD Group /Circana, was
Adam Lock.
a Sega Saturn exclusive. The first one on this list. Not a port of a game that was originally available on arcades, not a game that was available on both the Saturn and the Genesis. Sega Saturn exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Clue number 2. The protagonists of this game are teenagers named Elliot Edwards and Clarice Sinclair.
Stupid.
Clue number 3. The game was influenced by the theories of psychoanalysts Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud on sleep states and dreams. And clue number 4, it was developed by Sonic Team, but it doesn't feature Sonic.
Nights into Dreams.
It is indeed Nights into Dreams.
I'll take that 1 point, baby.
I didn't know that was a Saturn game. I knew that game, though.
Yeah. I've had that on the... Was there a Wii one? A sequel that was on Wii or something?
Yeah, it's confusing because the original game is called Nights into Dreams, and then the sequel on the Wii is called Nights Journey into Dreams. I always got them confused.
Why is this number 3 on the Saturn list? The Saturn must have sucked. Holy shit.
Look at that guy. Look at him hanging around, bumming around. Number
like
2.
A fucking Roblox bitch.
He kind of does. The second best-selling game on the Sega Saturn in North America, per the NPD Group, / Circana, is another sports game. Clue number 2. It was the first
Virtua
entry.
Tennis.
It is not Virtua Tennis. I'm sorry to say, Chad. In fact, I'll say right here, right now, Virtua Tennis, not on this list. I would be very shocked if Virtua Tennis was the best-selling game on the Sega Saturn, but it's not the first or second best-selling game, unfortunately. Clue number 2. It was the first entry in its franchise to feature on both the original PlayStation and the Sega Saturn. Clue number 3. Its name contains the same year that Men in Black released in theaters.
Madden 99.
It is not Madden 99, unfortunately. And clue number 4, the man on this game's cover was a famous coach and
Madden
commentator.
98.
It is not Madden 98.
It's Madden some year, Chad. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know when Men in Black came out.
Madden 97.
It is Madden 97.
Hey.
Congratulations,
Yes,
Chad,
I knew
for
it
getting
the whole time.
No, you did
both
not.
sports games correct on this list.
Both those men are dead, by the way. The ones on the screen right now
I was going to
commentating.
say, Michael Caine on the right there looks as old as he did today.
He kind of looks like a Roblox character as well, if I'm going to be totally honest.
Disrespect for John Madden.
Madden. Eventually, I will stop having you guys guess for Madden once we get into some of these later lists down the road, but because we're so early on, it's fun to do them now. And finally, number 1, the number 1 best-selling game on the Sega Saturn in North America, per the NPD Group / Circana, was both a launch and pack-in game for the console. Hence it being
Sonic 2.
It is not Sonic 2, and it is not Choo Choo Rocket. I both not bad guesses, but not quite there. Clue number 2. It's part of the same franchise as a previous title
Virtua
on
Fighter
this
1.
list. It is Virtua Fighter 1. Congratulations, Chad. You can give yourself 3 points for this one. Chad, you said going into this that you didn't know a single game on the Sega Saturn, but I feel like you cleaned up.
To be honest,
this console
as soon as we learned Virtua Cop was a thing, I was like, okay, I know some other words that come after the word Virtua.
Yeah.
And
Virtua Fighting,
one
Virtua
of them's fighter,
Racing.
one of them's tennis. Yep.
Yeah, one of my later clues for this one, if we would have gotten to it, would have been that the next mainline entry in this franchise is currently being developed by Ryuga Gotoku Studio, which is the same studio behind the Yakuza games. And I just wanted to bring that up to mention, obviously this looks pretty primitive going back and watching footage of this game from way back when, but like I feel like that studio probably is going to whip up a pretty impressive looking new iteration in this particular franchise. I'm interested in seeing what they do.
If they do the level where they're on top of a dance floor in the middle of the sky, then it'll be a 10 out of 10 video game.
That is that for the top 10. Normally, this is where I talk a little bit about some of the other like entries further up on the list. There's not a whole lot of sales data about some of the other best-selling games on this console because this console didn't sell very well and it didn't have a large repertoire of other games that sold super well on it beyond the top 10. However, Matt Piscatella did list another like best-selling games list for the Saturn that like listed them based on dollar sales as opposed to unit sales. And 2 games that were on that list that were not on this list were World Series Baseball and Panzer Dragoon. So a couple more highlights
Panzer
from
Dragoon.
the Sega Saturn.
You know what's funny is the top comment right after this forum post that Cozy sent The top comment just says, "No Panzer Dragoon. What a shame. People don't know what they missed."
Yeah, people love those Dragoons. And that's it for Console Honor Roll.
And that's it for Game on Game Show. And that's it for episode 402 of Respawn Aim Fire. Thank you, everyone, for listening so much. Homework time. Patreon.com/Respawn Aim Fire is a website that you can go to vote on future BARF games. Those are backlog accomplishment with Respawn and Friends games. One of them is this month and next month's game. It is a 2-monther because it's a little bit longer, and that is Expedition 33. You all voted on that. That's what we are playing. Claire Obscura Expedition 33. So play along with us. If you want to write in your thoughts, you can do that. Send us an email, respawningfire@gmail.com. Send us a DM, text us, whatever you want to do. If you want to be on the show, that is also a possibility. We'll be doing that at the end-ish of August, beginning-ish of September. So let us know as soon as possible if you would like to be on that show. We'll schedule it. You also get access to After Dark 6, which we already talked about, was War of the Hot Dogs at these non-conventional hot dog restaurants that also let you buy. You can actually, I think you can get a mortgage through Costco. Not through IKEA, but you can buy a home piece by piece through IKEA. So you can technically buy a home and a hot dog at both of these places.
Interesting. My bank sells hot dogs, so that's how I can buy a house and get a hot dog all in one spot.
You know? There you go. So yeah, you get to go listen to that episode of After Dark. That's your exclusive episode for the month. If you're not a patron, you also get access now, finally, to all the places Joe threw up. That is from May. What else? There's usually one more thing that we have to say. Can't remember.
I don't either.
Boop, 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 boop.
Guess we'll fucking forget it. That's it. Thank you, everyone, so much. Oh, reminder, next week we are skipping next week. Homebuyers,
Yes.
Anonymous.
Good point.
Et cetera, et cetera. Joel's going to be playing Bonanza on a plane. Cozy is doing something. And Adam just isn't going to sit in front of a camera eating soft pretzels out of a box. That's not something he's about. Sorry, I'm hungry right now because it's dinner time, and I'm thinking about this box of super pretzels that I have in the freezer right now.
Get that cheddar cheese.
Oh my god! So I have the Tostitos medium queso that you dip them in. I'm gonna fucking eat one of those right now. Until next time, here's our usual sign off. Queso.